Hello, friends. Happy Halloween. I recently made a post about launching Shopify and Lovable integration, and I threw a few examples of what I was building in there. One was well, we won't get into that. One was this game that I did for my children's book, Happy Hoots, where every book that we sell, we plant a tree. And this is an example of a purpose based business. And so this little character, Captain Hoots, also teaches kids this message of, hey, you can be an entrepreneur and you can build a business like me that saves the world. Plants trees, saves the world, maybe a bit of a stretch of imagination there. Anyway, people ask me, how did I build the game on Lovable and connect it to Shopify? So I'm going to quickly go through that. Uh, if you don't know me, my name is Dom. I am a entrepreneur and product manager at Shopify. So I work on a lot of cool things, helping spread entrepreneurship and unlocking the ability for merchants to build new things and start new businesses. And former founder multiple times over, and create a lot of side businesses myself to tinker and play. So let's get into Tinkertown. This game, the way it works, is very elementary and very basic. But what happens is this little guy drops pine cones, and oh, he missed, but he's trying to blow up the bulldozers before they reach the forest. And if too many reach the forest, then he loses. But if he's able to win, then what happens is you get a purchase coupon for 3 trees rather than 1 tree. And so this explains that then you do this, and what happens is it goes to a checkout. Prior to that, it applies a coupon code for 3 trees planted. Then, how did I do it? Check this out. So the first, now I get that the graphics are not that great. I'm not a game designer. This is a proof of concept. This is before we did the integration. This was actually one of the seeds, no pun intended, one of the pine cones that made me think about how cool this could work. And so I'll show you how I went about doing it before there was an integration. So this works for existing merchants. I'll also show you how you could do it with the new integration. So here is the prompt, incredibly easy, right? And then I just started, the first game looked like shit. I just started iterating through it. People kind of get how to do this. I uploaded different casts of characters and stuff like that. And then, told them that I wanted to be more animated. And then I said like, okay, the pine cone looks too much like poop. Can we make this a geometric pine cone? Like you, whatever game you're trying to do, you go through. The point isn't about that. And then, so like iterated through all of this and saying like, okay, well, like here, I want to throw up a modal. I want the owl to bounce. This is all the stuff that you're just going back and forth with natural language. And then, taking screenshots. This didn't look the right way, this and that. And so then in Shopify, what I did was, it thought that I needed to do like call my Shopify store and have a private API key and all that. What I did in Shopify was I have all my products. I actually just went into the product and I went up to more actions, give me a checkout link. And so then I was able to get the checkout link for this. And then I just pasted that into Lovable, because then when somebody goes to this checkout link, they're basically just there in that session. Now, 3 trees planted didn't automatically populate there because it does now, because it's like based on like my session browser. So I also just created a coupon code and mentioned to Lovable, please auto apply this. And it just does that in the URL. And so within this prompt, that's what I did. And then essentially I was able to publish it. And I have a game that goes through this very simple linear flow that pulled in the product image of the book, that pulled in the different coupon code, and actually did it. Now, a little bit of background here on this is within Lovable in terms of workflow. I have thousands of projects probably, but you'll notice that I had multiple different versions. Sometimes you just have to re-roll. Like sometimes you get going and it just isn't what you want, and it's better just to start over. And so if I was going to do this again from the beginning, I would do something like, hey, I want to create a children's game that has an owl that drops pine cones on bulldozers and protects this. And the bulldozers will continue to go until he breaks up 3 of them. And you should press the space bar to drop the bulldozers. And now I also want this to be tied to an e-commerce store that sells a book. So as soon as somebody drops a pine cone and it drops a book, we do this, it pops up a modal that says, now you can buy the book and we plant 3 trees rather than 1. I want you to create that store on Shopify. I also want you to create a product, which is a book. You can use a placeholder image and then return the checkout link for somebody when they click continue, they want to buy that book. Now, I use VoiceInk to do this. So I'm going to now publish this. I'm going to pause and we'll come back and we'll see how it did. Now, it's going to be rough, but it will actually show how the new integration works to bootstrap and get started. Okay, so now we're back. And you'll notice here that it has said, like, it's giving me an implementation plan of what it's going to do. And it's going to have a playful forest theme. So we're going to say allow the Shopify integration. It has this option. It knows that it wants to create a product because that was in my prompt. So I'm going to say allow. As it's working, you'll notice this thing down here that to accept starting payments, you have to claim your Shopify store. This is an important step because you have to go through like a KYC where you set up payments in order to collect payments, but you don't have to do that just to start like in your sandbox playing around, making sure the experience is well. The trial is long enough to really let people build and vibe something that's meaningful to them. Okay, now we're back. We have a game. Oliver is our owl, not Captain Hoots. That's okay. Start game. This is the owl. So some graphics work will need to be done. I'm gonna let one go through, see what happens. But here we go. Okay, so you save this for us by stopping 3 bulldozers. Buy this book, and we'll plant 3 trees instead of 1. Great. So add to cart and plant trees. So it has a cart in here by default. And it added 2 because I had tested this once before we did the run through. And so now check out with Shopify. I wouldn't want a cart in here for mine. So you could go back and say, actually, I want this to go directly to checkout, right? So, and then it goes here and it does this. Now this is just purchasing that product. So we have to add the whole step about like, hey, there should be a coupon that signifies that this is actually 3 rather. So that way I could actually track how many trees I'm planting with my supplier. Then the other thing is, I want to change the graphics and a few things like that. But how cool. Like literally I paused this for 2 minutes and I have a little game. Now I could do a quiz. I could do all sorts of fun shit, right? This is one of many examples of what you can build with Lovable and with Shopify. I really want to see what other people build. So when you build stuff, comment in the thing. And if you have a child in your life, be sure to buy a copy of Happy Hoots because I really want to hit 1 million trees in 2026. And so we are on our way to doing that. And we actually plant mangroves, which sequester more carbon than the typical trees that are used to produce the book. The book only takes 1/500th of a tree. So there's a very net positive impact. And we also teach a lesson on entrepreneurship and how kids can do this too. So there's going to be a lot of fun content coming out about how to be an entrepreneur, social impact with this little character, Captain Hoots. I'm excited to share that. And eventually the vision is that Happy Hoots will become a proliferator of hemp-based products, which are completely regenerative rather than using tree products. So support the cause, but if you can't, that's fine too. Just definitely build something and let me know what you built. All right. Have a great weekend. Enjoy some pumpkins. Don't smash them.